Welcome to another team analysis video for AFL Fantasy 2025. Today we're talking about the happy team, the Hawthorn Hawks. Coming in as a fantastic forward option beast for the upcoming year is Dylan Moore. Moore took a huge step forward a few years ago and he hasn't looked back. He played every game in the last 3 years and he has always averaged in the late 80s to early 90s. He provides a great forward pressure, getting open for plenty of marks and causing chaos with a tenacious tackling ability and also getting some stints through the midfield with some centre bounces as well. In a year where good, reliable forwards are hard to come by, you probably couldn't find a safer option this year than Dylan Moore. And on draft day, I wouldn't regret picking him up in the 3rd or 4th round because he's just a lock, he's going to be safe, and he's going to be a fantastic F1. Next up, a real beast contender for this year and also a breakout contender, but Mr. Jai Newcombe, my boy, number 3 for the Hawks, is going to be in for a huge year. I reckon he's going to explode. Last year, the Hawks as a team were dreadful, falling to 0-5 to start the year, and it showed in Jai Newcombe's numbers as well as most of the team's AFL fantasy scoring. But from round 6 onwards, Nuke averaged 90.3 for the year, and in particular, he had a very strong run home from round 21 through to the final series where he averaged 106.5 over those 6 games, proving that he can sustain some solid numbers, and I just feel like he is now a staple in this midfield for a very, very long time, and Jai is still only 23. He's a prime breakout age candidate, and a breakout could be something seriously close to triple figures this year. I think Jai Newcombe could go at an average of 98 by the end of the year. And we can't talk about Hawthorn Beast without talking about the captain, James Sicily, the general down back at the Hawks who has taken a majority of the kick-ins and getting plenty of mark kicks plays as a swingman defender for years. He had a bit of an off year in 2024 with various injury niggles as well as a 30-point game in round 1, and is recovering a little bit from a niggle in this preseason as well. But from round 14 onwards last year, Sicily went at an average of almost 96. I don't think the additions of Barrass and Battle will impact him too much this year, but maybe Sicily could get an odd stint up forward, which might impact him a little bit. But if he can stay on the puck this year, he is easily a 90-plus average defender, and I have him coming in as a 94 average for the season ahead. On to some breakouts and sleepers now, and my first big breakout here is the big man for the Hawks in Lloyd Meek. Technically, Meek broke out last year by increasing his average by almost 30 points, so huge breakout last year. But I reckon Big Meeky is in for an even bigger 2025. He had a monster game in the elimination final against the Bulldogs where he had 23 disposals, 46 hitouts and a goal for a career high 137 fantasy points. And that was against Tim English, one of the best ruckmen in the AFL. Back in the day, Meek's waffle numbers over in the West were dominant. And he wasn't able to get a game due to, Sean Darcy, Luke Jackson, all the big names over there. And I really think he could make a big splash for Hawthorn as the number 1 ruckman. There is that little bit of concern that Ned Reeves is coming back into the squad a little bit more, but I just think that Meek has a lot more impact in the ruck contests with his body and his disposal efficiency. He also moves around the ground a lot more, and he's actually elite in his movement for such a big guy. And I really do think, hopefully this isn't rose-tinted glasses, but I reckon Meek could get to that triple-digit average by season end if Reeves isn't in the mix. A big breakout contender this year is Mr. Will Day, who's been one who's suffered a little bit with injuries with his career so far. But when he is fit, he does fire. He's a much higher average than what he is from previous years, especially last year, because in 2023, we got to see how good Day really could be, where he averaged 95.3 from 21 games played, and he's still only turning 24 this year, And he's back into full training this preseason, I'm pretty sure. So I think he's an integral part of the Hawthorn midfield and someone to really bump up your rankings and not sleep on come draft day. Very easily will be gone, I think, within the first 6 rounds on draft day. And there's a few breakout candidates at the Hawks, but I think the next biggest one is Connor McDonald, who is a forward for this season. McDonald made an impact at forward half of the ground last year, getting open for plenty of marks and also hitting the scoreboard pretty often. After round 15, the bye round, McDonald went in an average of 92.5 over the next 10 games, only to have a shocker in the prelim final versus the Power at Adelaide Oval. Bit of a hard match. He was an absolute jet pure midfielder back in his under 18 days, where he averaged over 120 fantasy points, so I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Mitchell chucked him through the guts a little bit more this year. And maybe again I might have the rose-coloured glasses a bit, but I do think he will take a leap forward this year, adding at least 10 points to his average and getting close to an 88-89 average. Alright, the main rookie that Hawthorn picked up later in the draft this year was Mr. Cody Anderson. The main product from last year's draft, Anderson is a relentless midfielder who attacks the ball super hard. He's been training in the forward line this preseason, which is probably for the best with his chances of getting a game this year, since the midfield at the Hawks is just so stacked, but it also could mean he gets forward status as well. So, potentially one to look at down the track this year, if he does get that DPP. He's been pretty impressive so far in preseason, and he did have some solid under 18 numbers, so when he does get a game this year, look out for the beast from the east. And a quick one to beware of this year, in my opinion, Jarman Impey is going to be the main victim from the new recruits Tom Morass and Josh Battle this year. Jarman played all the games last year and averaged pretty well, but I just don't know about his role moving forward, especially with all the youth coming through as well. There are definitely some sleepers and breakout options on draft day that I'll probably be taking before Impey, in my opinion, so just one to keep an eye on. I'm not sure if his average reflects his potential coming into the 2025 season. So those are a few Hawthorn Hawks to look out for the AFL Fantasy season ahead. I hope I gave you some insight with this video, and if you liked it at all, please consider liking and subscribing below and on social media. And yeah, well, stay tuned for the next video. We'll be doing the Melbourne Demons next time, so I'll see you there.